I'm Julia from Jooya Teaching Resources, and tonight I'm going to show you, actually this month, when I say month, a couple of weeks because it's December and it's the crazy silly season, but I'll be looking at harmony, and harmony is not a very big topic in itself, so I figure it's a great one to do this time of year. It's also a good one for me. It fits underneath the umbrella of pitch, because for me pitch is melody, harmony and tonality, and harmony and tonality really have a really close interconnection. They rely on each other, as does melody relies on the harmony and all that sort of stuff. So as I said, I'll get into that, but being the silly season, I thought I'd show you a couple of things that you could do with your classes, because it is tough keeping them engaged this time of year. They've had enough. Like for me, our kids are nearly finished for the school year, and then we go on our summer break. So it's even harder to keep them engaged and keep them going and keep them learning, instead of them wanting to watch a movie, which we do not want to do. We'd rather have them actually doing something meaningful in class. So I said, I'm going to show you that. So I'll share my screen, famous words of 2020. So I shall do this first. And there goes the train, of course. Actually, I'll make that a bit bigger. Sorry, I'm just, let me see if that looks like. Oh, that'll be fine on the screen. Okay, I just wasn't sure. Alrighty, so this is actually in my store, and I'll show you where it is in my store in a moment. And I'm sorry about that train, but I created this one quite a few years ago. In fact, it's so old, it's actually got my old logo on there. I updated that quite a few years ago. But the fun thing is there's 10 Christmas Carol comparisons. So as I said, we'll be looking at what do you call it? Harmony today. But there's rhythm, there's dynamics, deck the halls with harmony. That's what we're doing tonight. Away in a manger, little drummer boy, hark the herald angels sing. That was a mistake there. O come all ye faithful, God rest you merry gentlemen. And there we go. So I don't think there's 10. There should be only 8. Okay, that's a mistake on my part. I said I made this a very, very long time ago. But the whole idea is that you listen to the 2 versions. So when you click on this, okay, you'll actually go to the YouTube clip. And then you can listen and just make a few points here, which I'm going to show you tonight. And then you listen to the second version and you make a few points. Now, I tried really, really hard to make sure that each version of the songs is very different, so that gives you something to talk about. And I said, I forgot how fun this particular song was, and the 2 versions I had for it. And the idea is, once you've actually done a really quick analysis on those things, is that you actually talk about similarities and differences, which is something I did last week as we looked at melody and a comparison there. Okay, so it seems to be that time of year that I'm doing these sorts of things. So I'll just stop share for a moment. I'll do that, and I'll just show you in the store. So sorry, I've got to share screen again. And ooh, where is it? It's gone walkybouts. Hang on, I will not share screen for a moment. I will just find it on there, because I'll get rid of that one. Oh, there it is. It was hiding. Don't you love it when things hide? So we'll try again, and I'll just show you in the store. So when you're looking, you'll know where it is. So here it is. Welcome to my store. So if you go there to the storefront, if I just go back there, don't you love it? Takes a while. Okay, and then if you go to holiday activities, and then you can see that there's some Christmassy things. That's just some simple little worksheets that I talked about. No, I did a reel about that one. They're great fun colouring in activities. And this is the one I'm doing tonight. Okay, this Christmas music listening worksheets. So you can see there, that's the thing. So I said all the different bits and pieces that are in there. Okay, so that is where it is. So again, I'll stop share and go to my other screen, because I want to share screen on this. Okay, so as I said, we are talking harmony this month. Alrighty, so harmony being, so we'll get into that. So we'll look at the 8 elements of music. As you know, I start with that each time. I'll give a very brief explanation, and then we're going to look at the 2 versions of Deck the Halls. The links to the videos will be in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, and you'll be able to then actually have a listen first before you, then you'll see what I'm talking about here and how it all fits in, okay? And I'll show you how to actually put it together, and we'll do similarities and differences, and I'll do basically a live version of me actually writing. So it's not pre-prepared. It's me coming up with it at the time. All right, so the 8 elements of music in alphabetical order. If you call it by these things, we've got dynamics, we have form, or I call it structure. We have harmony, which we're talking about tonight, melody, rhythm, texture, timbre, and tonality. And as I say often, for me, rhythm, I call it duration. Timbre, I call tone color, and tonality, harmony, and melody come under the umbrella of pitch for me. As a different syllabus that I'm working with, but again, as I say every week, it is the same stuff, okay? And as I said, we're talking all things harmony. So for me, harmony is purple. Don't ask me why, but it is. Okay, that's why I get there. But a simple definition of harmony is the succession of chords or chordal progressions made by 2 or more parts or voices playing or singing together. So you see there's a nice little choir, and I'm pretty sure this time of year, most of you have got performances because it's end of year concerts and all those sorts of things. So I'm pretty sure you're very familiar with the good old choir. At the moment for us, thanks to COVID, I said as of recording, this is in 2021. Thanks to that, we're not supposed to still be singing inside. Okay, so that is unfortunately something that I'm not doing. In fact, we've got an assembly coming up tomorrow, and everything had to be pre-recorded. Nothing could be done live. But that's okay. We made it fun. Alrighty, so let's look at the mind maps. So again, if you like these mind maps, don't forget you can get yourself a free copy. At the end of the video and in the description, I'll have a link to go get your free one. But in case you want it now, it's jooya.com/free mind maps, all smooshed together. And I said that'll take you to a page. You fill in your details and you'll be able to get these mind maps. And there's so many different ways you can use these. I'll just show you a couple of things tonight. We're not actually focusing on the mind maps. I might do that next week, and how you could use it. But as I said, we're looking at harmony tonight. So the things that come under harmony are the overall sound. I'll start there because that's where I like to start. Chords, okay, a chord pattern or a chord progression, harmonic rate of change, so how often do those chords progression, the harmonic roll, what instruments are performing that, a cadence, which is, it was a bugbear of my days of having to do performance exams, and you'd have to do those silly listening bits at the end, the cadences, recognize the cadences and all that sort of stuff. So there's cadences, the key signature, because that comes under tonality, modulation, it might change key and it might change, then it goes, as I said, overall sound. So these are all the things that come under harmony. And again, these overlap a lot with tonality because they just do, okay, because you can't really talk about one without talking about the other. So as I said, we're going to be looking at harmony for Deck the Halls. So there were 2 versions. Now, honestly, when I'm doing this in class, I said I'm going to do this tomorrow. I won't print a copy for each of my students because they have an exercise book. I'll put this on display. We'll listen to the music. We will answer it for one music piece. Then we'll listen to the second and we'll answer it for then. And then we will talk about similarities and differences and put it together. So you can see here the questions that I've just got really simply. Is it consonant or dissonant, which refers to the overall sound? What instruments are performing the melodic accompaniment or the harmonic accompaniment? What is the chord pattern? Is there use of a familiar one? Okay, so it could be 12-bar blues or ice cream chord change or anything like that. And also, what is the harmonic rate of change? In other words, how often do those chords change? Now, when I'm doing that, we will listen and we'll see if we can find them, those chord changes. And if we're struggling, I'll literally type into the search guitar chords for Deck the Halls or whatever it is. I'll pull the music up and we listen to it, and you can see the lyrics with the chords above it, the good old guitar music. And we look at when those chords are falling and how often they're changing, and is it every couple of beats, every 4 beats, is it every couple of bars, and we'll look at it that way. So then the kids are actually connecting what they're playing to what they're hearing. So again, it makes that much stronger connection for them if they can actually not only play it, but hear it first and then play it. As I said, you can't do one without the other, and it helps. All these listening skills really help make a better musician in the long run, whether it be for performance or for composition, or I said just music appreciation. But that's what we're focusing on tonight. So those things there. Okay, so let's move right along. So the first version was by 10th Avenue, and it's a really fun little film clip. Okay, they're all got these cardboard cutouts of instruments, and it's a really lovely feel to this particular song. I hope you get to actually go and have a listen to it. But overall, as I said, if you're watching this, pause, go and have a listen, then come back if you want to, so you know what I'm talking about here. But overall, consonant or dissonant, it was certainly consonant, which is pleasant sounding. The melodic accompaniment was being performed by the double bass, piano / keyboard. I was doing these rather quickly this afternoon, so I have to admit I'd need to listen to it a couple more times to make sure that was correct. It's one of those, okay? Electric guitar, a saxophone, and a horn section. So it was very much a jazz sort of bass piece, but that's the instruments performing the melodic accompaniment. And then the chord patterns. So again, as I said, when I'm going to be teaching this, I'll be pulling up the chord patterns and say, let's have a look. All right. But you'll see that, deck the halls with boughs of holly, la, 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 and then it repeats that sort of same musical phrase. So the chord pattern's the same, the two bits. And then there's a different phrase and then a different one. Okay. And then the whole thing repeats. So you could talk about, even though it's harmony, you could talk about structure, and even though it's like macro structure, the big picture, and then micro. So within that verse, okay, or that stanza, what's happening, okay, and that's what we're talking about here. And then the harmonic rate of change is mostly 4 beats. I said some of them are a bit quicker, but it's also at the end of chord, the quick chord changes, I'll try and get it out, is at the end of phrases, okay. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, la 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 la, da 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 da, and that's very quick there, okay. All right, so that's one version by 10th Avenue. So you can see here, as I said, consonant or dissonant, melodic accompaniment, chord pattern, and harmonic rate of change. They're the things we're focusing on. You could focus on a lot more, but as I said, this is just a nice, simple activity. It means that you can actually listen to a Christmas carol if that's what you're choosing to do, and the kids are still getting something musically out of it, okay? The next one was by Mike Tompkins and friends. Now, this is a total a cappella piece. No instruments at all. It's all a cappella, lots of sounds laid over top of each other, okay? And you can see that in the video. Again, watch it. It's a bit of fun. So again, consonant or pleasant sounding. The melodic accompaniment, though, comes from all the voices, and there's quite a few in there because it's an a cappella group. The chord changes are not as obvious because it's voices as opposed to instruments performing it, okay, but it still follows the same pattern. And the harmonic rate of change, mostly 4 beats, again, like it was on the other one, because it's the same piece of music. They haven't really changed it up too much. It's just that it's not as easy to hear those chord changes because it's not instruments playing it. So when you hear an instrument playing that, changing chords, there it is, there it is. When it's voices, you can hear something different, but kids will often struggle to hear where that is because they're not hearing an instrument change there, okay? So let's keep moving along, and let's look at similarities. So all I've done here is I've just put the 2 versions. And again, as I showed you last week, I would do this on the board, and we'd have 10th Avenue on one side, Mike Tompkins on the other side. And once we've done all that, then we'd look at the similarities, then look at the differences. So essentially, though, if we look at it, the similarities come under, though, the main thing here is that the concept, it's a consonant sounding. Let's just do points for the moment. Consonant, whoops. I spelt that wrong as well. Oh, excuse me, that was my dinner repeating. I apologize for that. Consonant sounding, okay, that is certainly one big similarity. The other big similarity is the underlying chord pattern, okay, and then same harmonic rate of change. So they're the similarities. I said I'll come back to this in a minute, but that's the main similarities. So then obviously the differences, the main differences come in with the main differences are in the instruments performing the harmonic support. So harmonic support instruments. Okay, and then I'm literally just going to copy these for the moment. So this is 10th. Whoops. Geez, my brain, sorry. And then the other one is Mike T. And I'll do that it's by voices, okay? I don't want to move it. I want to copy it. Okay. And you could talk about the instruments, like there is a voice performing the bass role. There is, and I could talk about that here too, that there's the double bass is performing the bass line, the underlying support, whereas the piano and the guitar are definitely performing majority of the harmonic support, and the saxophone and the horn section are in there adding extra little bits. Whereas on the other one, it's all by voices. So there's an instrument performing a real bass sort of sound, plus other sounds that are in there that are moving often. Alrighty, so what I'll do is, using that information, we're going to write a paragraph using the music framework. Okay, so about similarities and differences. So don't forget, music stands for main musical idea, understanding of the main musical idea, specific samples, in-depth information, connect to concept or question. So the overall thing here is we're comparing similarities and differences in the use of harmony. That's our main focus. Alrighty, so I'm just going to go here and I'm just going to copy that for a moment. Oops, why have I got two C's there? Don't you love that? Sorry, and we're going to do similarities first. Okay, so I'm just going to drop that in for the moment, just so I've got it there to refer back to. And let's get rid of that for a moment. Okay, and let's get rid of that. All right, so harmony in music refers to, so harmony in music is our main idea, and then I'm literally going to define what harmony in music is. And if we go back to this one, is the succession of chords. And again, I'm just going to copy that. I know it's going to be too big. That's okay. I'll just change that in a minute. Succession refers to the succession of chords or chordal progressions made by two or more parts or voices playing or singing together. Okay, so I'm going to make that actually all that text so you can see it, because that's the one I usually use. Arial rounded. Okay, so that is simply our main idea and our understanding. We've done that. Okay, in the two versions of, I don't know why we just type that. The two versions of Deck the Halls formed by 10th Avenue and Mike Tompkins. There are several similarities, because that's what we're talking about here, in the use of harmony, or in the use of the element of music, harmony. Okay, and you could say in the two versions of the Christmas Carol, Deck the Halls, it's up to you what you want to put in there, but that sort of gives us an idea. Okay, so let me just do that and do that. All right, because it always looks better. So we've done our main idea and we've done our understanding, and we've also then done our second main idea, which is in the two versions of Deck the Halls, because we've introduced that song to make sure that we're talking about the similarities here. Okay, I might say both songs have an overall consonant sound. This means it sounds, that could be worded better, pleasant. Means it sounds pleasant. So I've just defined it. So both songs have an overall consonant sound. This means it sounds pleasant. The underlying chord pattern is also similar. Although it is, I'm going to say, easier to hear in the Avenue version, or rendition. That's another one you could use. Okay, both. Oh yes, that one. In each song, I might do that something different. In each song, the harmonic rate of change is the same with the chords being played for approximately 4 beats, then changing to a then the chords change quicker at the end of the phrase. Okay, which is what was happening. Okay, and now, so what we've done there, and I'm sorry about that train again. Okay, so that was just the points we had there. But what we've done now is we've done our main idea, our understanding. We've introduced the song and said what we're talking about. Then I've just literally done sentences on each of those things, the harmonic, the consonant, what's similar. So the consonant sound, the underlying chord pattern, and the same harmonic rate of change. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. So the only thing I have to do is do a connect to concept, or connect to the element, or connect to the question you were talking about. And the idea was that we're talking about similarities and differences. So here we go. It is important for 2 versions, or let's say renditions, or interpretations, renditions. I didn't think I spelled that right. Look wrong. Renditions is important for 2 renditions of the same song to have the same underlying harmonic framework. Same might go chord structure, so that the music is still recognizable to the listener. Okay, or makes the song familiar. Okay, so again, so if we make that a little bit bigger, because we need to. Okay, so but you could see that that's more than enough for a student to be writing about. Okay, and if I'll come back and I'll make the different colors for music in a moment. But we're going to, so that's our similarities, no worries. We will now look at the differences, which we know there wasn't a lot. So this paragraph's not going to be that big. So I'm just going to copy that for a moment, because I need to use some bits. Oh, I have to do that. Okay, and I'm going to copy that so that I can put that in there. So we've got something to refer to. Okay, so again, we would still use that same thing. So, but this time, just going to get rid of that. All right. Harmony in music refers to the succession of chords or chordal progressions made by 2 or more parts of voice playing or singing together. In the 2 versions, Deck the Halls performed by 10th Avenue Mike Tompkins, there are only a few differences. That's what I'm going to change there. Only a few differences. Well, actually, we'll say one more. There is only, I think we might say that. It's only one main difference in the use of harmony, because we are really only talking about the instruments being used there. So the difference between the 2 versions come from the instruments used to provide harmonic support, or instruments used that are performing the melodic accompaniment or the harmonic support. I might actually use the word harmonic. No, harmonic support. I like that better. Okay, and now what I'm literally going to do is in the 10th Avenue version, the instruments used are blah blah blah, and then in the other version the instruments used are blah blah blah. So that's the main difference. Okay, so we've already just said that the difference between the 2 versions come from the instruments used to provide harmonic support. So I'm just going to explain exactly what that is. So in the 10th Avenue song, the instruments heard performing the melodic or harmonic accompaniment. Same thing, sort of. Include, I might so include the double bass. What else did I have there? Piano / keyboard, saxophone. Oh, I did that before too when I was typing this earlier. I meant to do that. Saxophone and the horn section. In the Tompkins whoops, version, the instruments provide the melodic accompaniment are all voices. It wants me to put a comma there. It does. The instruments that provide the melodic accompaniment are all voices. And I'm going to say because it is an an a cappella group. Okay, and you could even say what that means. Okay, and again, now in this one I talked about that it's important for the two renditions to have similarities. So why would you want to have differences? And I would literally say to my kids, why do we want differences? And it's basically, why is it important to have differences? And, it takes a while to get it out of them, but usually they come up with the fact that it makes the song sound their own. And that's what we're all talking about. So it is important to have differences in the use of harmony between versions of the song because it allows for the song to sound unique and original. Okay, and that's generally enough. I mean, the kids would have probably given me a little bit more than that, but that you get the idea. All right, so and I'm just going to get rid of that. So you can see there that that's there. All right, so what I'm going to do is, let me just make that a bit smaller. All right, so I'm going to copy this and the other one, and I'll highlight the different colors so you know what I'm talking about in terms of where the music framework fits in. Remember, it's main idea, understanding, sample, in-depth information, connect to concept or connect to question. So let's do similarities first. I'm going to put that one there. Here we go. So harmony, that is a harmony in music. That's our main idea. So that's going to be pink. We like that pink. All right, refers to, and then our here is, again, our understanding of what harmony is. Now, remember, when we introduce the song, we are also talking about our main idea. So it doesn't matter that it's mixed up. It doesn't have to go in particular order. It's just that we're talking about that. We could have said in the two versions of Deck the Halls by, there are several similarities in the use of harmony. Harmony is, and you could actually do that way. And I might try and remember to do that next time. So both songs have an overall consonant sound. So that's a specific sample. Okay, that's a specific sample. We'll make that one red. Where's my red? And this means it is pleasant sounding. So that is simply our in-depth information, our explaining it. The underlying chord pattern is also similar. Okay, although it's easier to hear in the 10th Avenue version. So that again is our specific sample. Whereas this bit, this is what is being the actual, the actual in-depth information. That is telling us what that actually is all about. So in each song, the harmonic rate of change is the same, with the chords being played for approximately 4 beats, then the chord changes then the chords change quicker at the end of the thing. So actually that's another sample. Sorry, specific sample. Read that wrong. Okay. And that is some in-depth information. Sorry about that. Okay. And then the last bit there, it is important for the two renditions, is our purple, which is our connect to concept. Okay, so let me read that one again for you. So these are just the similarities one. So harmony in music refers to the succession of chords or chordal progressions made by two or more parts or voices playing or singing together. In the two versions of Deck the Halls performed by 10th Avenue and Mike Tompkins, there are several similarities in the use of harmony. Both songs have an overall consonant sound. This means it sounds pleasant. The underlying chord pattern is also similar, although it is easier to hear in the 10th Avenue version. In each song, the harmonic rate of change is the same, with the chords being played for approximately 4 beats, then the chords change quicker at the end of the phrase. It is important for two renditions of the same song to have the same underlying harmonic chord structure so that the music is still recognizable to the listener or is still familiar to the listener. Okay, something like that. So you can see there, that is our similarities, and you can see how it fits in there with our music. Main idea, understanding, sample, in-depth information, and connect to concept or connect to element or connect to your question. Alrighty, so let's have a look here. So just remember this bit here was essentially all the information we grabbed out of this in the first place. Remember, that's what we started with. That is what we started with for this one. Okay, and then we started with the went to the similarities and differences. Okay, let's look at differences. So again, harmony in music refers to, okay, that is our main idea. So let's make that pink. And then the definition of that is in orange, because that is our definition. Alrighty, so then we're going to talk about, this is again our main idea, because we're talking about differences this time instead of similarities. And you might choose to just do differences or just do similarities with a particular songs. It's up to you. It doesn't matter. So then the next part, though, we're talking about our sample and in-depth information. So the difference between the two versions come from the instruments used to provide the harmonic support. So that is our main our main idea. All right, so not main idea, our specific sample, because in the next part, we explain what's there. So in the 10th Avenue song, the instruments heard performing the melodic accompaniment include those. And then in the Mike Tompkins version, it includes those. So that is all the specific information. Okay. And remember, it was also saying that recognizing the different ensembles. And you could have actually said that the other version was a jazz ensemble and this one was an a cappella group. Okay. And then the last bit there is our connect to concept / element / question. All right, which is in purple. So let's have a look here. So harmony in music refers to the succession of chords or chordal progressions made by two or more parts or voices playing or singing together. In the two versions of Deck the Halls, performed by 10th Avenue and Mike Tompkins, there is only one main difference in the use of harmony. The difference between the two versions the difference between the two versions come from the instruments used to provide harmonic support. That's okay. In the 10th Avenue song, the instruments heard performing the melodic accompaniment include the double bass, piano / keyboard, saxophone, and the horn section. In the Mike Tompkins version, the instruments that provide the melodic accompaniment are all voices because it is an a cappella group. It is important to have differences in the use of harmony between versions of the same song because it allows for the song to sound unique and original. Okay, and again, you can see how much we've done there. Now, I would suggest, though, if you are going to do both similarities and differences, I wouldn't actually define harmony a second time. You don't need to define it once, okay? I wouldn't do that. I would just literally go harmony in the two versions. I'd probably skip this whole bit there and start within the two versions, okay? Because then you're talking about differences because it's still the main idea. And we've already defined it, okay? We're already talking about what's happening there. So as I said, if you're going to make this into a writing thing that you were talking about both similarities and differences, then I would suggest that you don't actually do that at all, okay? That you would just start from this part here, okay? But if you're doing them separately, then you might want to add that in, okay? So again, just to remind you what we started with. So we started here, and that was our thing that we're talking about. We listened to the two versions, consonant or dissonant. This is what things we were listening for in harmony, melodic accompaniment, chord pattern, and harmonic rate of change. Now, this is at what I call the level 1 level. You can obviously get more in depth, way more in depth if you want to, but this is starting at that level. I would be using this, or I do use this with my grade 7 and 8 students. Okay, that's sort of where we are. Then I step it up a level for my 9s and 10s, and then I step it up a level again for my 11s and 12s. Okay, so it gets a bit harder. And you can see here we've got the information. We've got the what we worked out was the actual all these things here for that 10th Avenue version, as well as the Mike Tompkins version. And here we've got the same information, and we just pulled out the similarities, and the information we pulled out the differences. Music, because that's my thing. And then we looked at actually writing a paragraph for both. And again, let's look at that there. You can see that they're actually in color coded there for you. Pink being the main idea, orange being your understanding. The red is your specific samples. The green is the in-depth information. And the purple there is that connect to concept or element or the question. And again, you can see that here as well as in the differences. Okay, so we're just about there, lovely people. So if you'd like to know more about how to write about music, just like I'm showing you here, you can check out my course on Teachable at that address there, jooya.teachable.com. And when you get there, you'll see a few courses. Some are for groups and some is for an individual. Now, please note, this is more in line with the concepts of music at this point. The elements of music will come out at some point in 2022, and I'll make sure that you know about it so that you get this all this wonderful what I'm talking about here in a course for you. If you'd like to find any music classroom resources ready for you to purchase over today over at my Teachers Pay Teacher store, use the link either in the description below, or you can obviously, look, seriously, you type in Jooya Teaching Resources. I'm the only one you're going to find me. And don't forget the Christmas one. And as I said, like, this is the one, this is it here. And if I show you, there's like stacks of pages, sorry. And now my fingers don't want to work. Oh. And that one is Little Drummer Boy. Okay, there's a stack. I said there's a heap in there. I showed you before. So that's it there, printed up. And if you'd like a free copy of the Elements of Music mind maps, don't forget to go to this link, juliajooya.com/free mind maps. And then you'll get to that lovely page to pop in your details, and you'll get the sent in an email the free mind maps, okay, which you can use in so many different ways. And if you'd like more information on harmony and music, please go to my blog, juliajooya.com, and you'll find stacks of information there on harmony. Okay, you simply just do a search and you'll find a lot of information. And I go through lots of different things there to help you and explain things to you. Okay, so I'm going to stop share. And I'm going to say good evening, good night, because as I said, it is another one. That is it. Finished. Sorry, it was a long one tonight, but I said it was quite an in-depth information. Now, don't forget, this would actually take me to do that properly, probably 2 lessons, which is great this time of year. If you want to stretch something out, you listen to it, stretch it out. 2 lessons, okay, to write all that information. And honestly, I'd probably then spin it out to another one and choose another song. Let's, you know, get the kids to do it on their own. Once you've modeled it, you get them to do it on their own, which is fantastic. Good teaching, good practice to do, all that sort of stuff. And it's great for the kids as well. So until next week, I said next week will be my last one for the year because we're heading into Christmas. And again, I'll be talking about harmony as well there. And again, it's Christmas. And even if you don't celebrate Christmas, I'm sure there are songs that you celebrate that would be perfect to use at this time of year with your kids and your students. You know your kids best. My background is I'm more familiar, obviously, with Christmas carols and all those sorts of things, but you use what's perfect for you and your children. You know what's best. You can use the same ideas, the same concepts, same lesson structure. You just change the songs and you've got a great couple of lessons. Anyway, until next week, I'm Julia from Jooya Teaching Resources, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.